Alright, welcome back to Mortal Kombat Armageddon, and thanks to mksecrets.net, we now can watch these videos, so let's enjoy. So, go ahead. And this time I don't have to read it! Thank God.
That said, yeah, remember the days when, well, okay, games still do have their own dedicated websites these days, but, you know, they aren't always as bulky as they used to be back in the day.
Yeah.
Like, I kid you not, back in the day, a game's website could be considered the central hub of info there, and it was amazing. Nowadays,
remember,
you see more so from the game's fandom wiki.
Hey Jova, did you remember KingdomHeartsVids.net?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember KH Insider.
Yeah, well, that one still exists, so...
Well, KH Insider as it was back then, but yeah, you do have a point. That
is the Space Jam website still up?
Yes.
Oh my God.
So yeah, basically I was talking how Blaze is of course the top of the food chain. There you go.
Even though originally he was, you know, kind of...
just a background character in 2, yes.
Yeah,
he's about to say it actually. There you go, see?
Yeah.
So which version of Blaze do you prefer, Pedro? His normal form or his huger form?
Huger.
For legal reasons, we couldn't call him Torch, so we ended up naming him Blaze. What was cool about the Armageddon version...
We literally wanted to call him Torch, but we probably thought Marvel would have sued.
Particle effects. He has a lot of cool effects that we haven't done on any other character.
Blaze's moves are just really big, kind of massive. He's not a graceful character. He's huge on the screen. He's going to roll into a ball, steamroll his opponents. He's going to have a fireball, a quake, molten lava, teleport. He's obviously kind of like this heat-related character. My favorite move from Blaze is probably his steamroller rolling attack, where he basically just kind of rolls over the opponent.
It's the spin dash.
I'm Sonic. Get over here!
Hey, Mrs. Sonic, you can expect a call from my lawyer, Blaze.
Alright, next, Dyro. Yeah, exactly. Nobody cares about him.
His family was murdered.
Yeah, him.
Did we face him in the story mode?
Yes, actually.
God, I can't even remember him from that. I'm guessing he's one of the new characters made for this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that memorable.
I think this is kind of a thing with newer Mortal Kombat games, is like, well, more often than not, the newer characters introduced in the newer pre-reboot Mortal Kombat games were just...
Yeah, most of them,
memorable.
yeah. I mean,
like I said, I do believe that there are some genuine good exceptions like Nitara, but yeah, a lot of them were just pure garbage.
I mean, the only one that was retained from this era was Kenshin, and he's the best one, so...
Also Boraicho, technically.
Oh yeah, and Boraicho as well, yeah. Boraicho and Kenshin were definitely the highlights, definitely.
When it comes to Boraicho, do we consider him, you know, a newer character, or technically a character who was there, just, you know...
No, technically you, Jova.
Well, Boraicho was sort of kind of somebody who was... Well, he was...
Yeah, we'll talk about the fatalities of this game later.
Oh, goody. Oh, wait, is this the one with the creative fatality?
Yes, and it sucks balls, but we'll move... not the time right now.
But yeah, I feel like, wasn't Boraicho technically a part of the canon even before Styx, though?
Boraicho premiered in Deadly Alliance, but yes, canon-wise, he's always been around, yes.
It's more of a case of in-game Jova. No, the actual first game appearance was still in Deadly Alliance.
Oh yeah, Deadly Alliance is a newer one. God, I forgot about Deadly Alliance, because when you get down to it, all Deadly Alliance is really important for is killing Liu Kang.
And setting up the Dragon King army.
He's an Oni, a demon from hell. In Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, Dramin and Moloch...
I love how one of Dramin's fighting styles is called just wrestling. Just wrestling.
Never really cared about Dramin, if I'm
Even in general, Jova, the two Onis from Deadly Alliance are some of the more prime examples of the more forgettable sides of the new characters added.
Yeah.
Dramon's basically just.
Dejimon is like, look at how gruesome I am. I'm practically a corpse with all the flies flying around me.
Dramon
And
probably,
that's pretty much it.
most
Otherwise, his
difficult
fighting
character
is
to
very
focus
basic.
because He had this club on him when he kept switching sides. We had to write special code to make sure that the club didn't switch to his other arm. He was one of the oddest looking characters because he didn't look anything like a ninja. He didn't look anything like a human being. He was kind of like almost like a strange corpse-like feature. To me, that was easily the oddest of the Mortal Kombat characters we've ever had. Dramon, it was probably one of the more comical moves too, where he would actually shoot a ball of flies at his opponent. He always had flies buzzing around.
I mean, yeah, it is unique.
For what kind of special move to give this guy, and then one of the obvious things was just a ball of flies, and the opponent's kind of waving the flies away from him.
You know what? To be fair, for the time this game was made, he was probably a technological marvel.
Yeah, that's mostly why we're considering that much.
Yep.
That said, though, yeah, obviously this is one of those cases where I'm not feeling it, but I can appreciate the effort still.
Pose. Alright, so that was Dramon.
Next.
Next is Ermac, a fan favorite, so cool.
Okay, this one's good now.
The enigmatic Ermac is a being composed of the souls of conquered outworld warriors. For many years he served at the side of Shao Kahn, but has since freed himself from the Emperor's influence. Once a force of
Not being a
evil,
robot
he
will
now
help with
controls
that.
his own destiny.
Ermac has always been one of my favorite characters. He's kind of a more mysterious ninja.
Ermac is a warrior that was comprised of many different warrior souls, all merged into one entity. Shao Kahn put him together and used him to do his bidding.
In our diagnostic screen, it said Ermac 5, and people thought that it was something that was related to the game, but it had nothing to do with the game, and so they thought that there was a character named Ermac. That started a rumor, and that, a lot of the ideas that we like to create are ones that were based on rumors from previous games.
Yeah. You will see that in 2 games from now with Scarlet as well.
Special moves involved kind of mystic psychic powers, levitation and, shooting projectiles, teleporting. He was a very magic kind of orientated character. He was actually one of the more powerful characters in Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 because of that teleport slam move that he had. That's easily one of my favorite moves in Mortal Kombat 3, and maybe one of my favorite moves in all the Mortal Kombat games has been that teleport slam.
There you go.
Okay, not bad.
Alright, next is Frost. This is actually a character that's going to return in Mortal Kombat X, so we'll put a pin on her for now.
Frost is a formidable young warrior. Her powers of cryomancy are extremely advanced for one so young.
She looks like a
Strong and
prototype of Killer
her abilities
Frost.
are eclipsed only by her overconfidence.
Well, her Injustice look or just in general?
In general.
Sub-Zero, and that she has freezing powers. Her initial storyline is that
Oh yeah, I guess her Injustice look as well.
which was just reforming under the leadership of Sub-Zero.
Hey, John.
Nah, Killer Frost has been a thing since the 70s.
Well, what I mean is like, well, she looks like a potential prototype to Killer Frost if you catch my drift. Like, obviously Killer Frost came before her, but I guess it's kind of fitting that Killer Frost would be a character in, some games made by the Silk later on.
And then gets replaced by Captain Cold.
The game just showed John Turk dressed as Sub-Zero. It would be interesting to see if Frost had been made up in the classic series. It would be interesting to see Becky Gable playing Frost, maybe. Who knows? For the Becky Gable was the one that played the Free Ladies in Mortal Kombat 3. Kitana, Melina, and Jade.
Frost was one of the first characters we actually designed for Deadly Alliance. Eventually became one of the players' favorites.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Yeah.
Frost did become another fan favorite. I gotta be honest, I don't particularly care about her myself.
I often see her as Distaff Sub-Zero, and when I say Distaff Sub-Zero, I mean the first Sub-Zero, who was more selfish and evil and whatnot.
Beyond.
Not the current Yeah. Not the later Sub-Zero, who's more noble and upstanding.
His younger brother, Kuai Liang.
I can imagine that move maybe getting a bit annoying.
Well, fortunately, then the reboot trilogy makes it a lot easier by flat out establishing right from the beginning. The first, the older one is called Bihan, and the younger one is called Kuai Liang. So they do give them their proper names, because Sub-Zero is actually not a name; it's actually just
title.
It was just it was actually a title that Bihan had, and Kuai Liang decided to wear it as an homage to his brother. And this was before he found out that Bihan was an asshole. So.
That move must have been annoying to deal with.
Well, I think if I remember correctly, that move can be easily avoided by just blocking. So
yeah, you can actually parry it.
Wow, that one kind of seems pretty lame.
Oh, don't you even get me started. We'll have an entire part to rant about that.
You have a character named Frost, and of course what she does is just pluck out innards one by one.
Fujin, Raiden's younger brother. No, he's actually Fujin is the god of wind, and he's Raiden's younger brother.
Oh, that's right. This is the one they made to replace Raiden when Raiden went evil.
No.
Well, actually, no. It was Raiden became another god at the end of 4. So Fujin.
No. What I'm saying is like, he sort of took Raiden's position as the wise Earth god, especially when Raiden was evil.
Basically.
Yeah, but Raiden became evil after Deception.
No, Tio. My point is like, he pretty much officially took Raiden's role after Raiden became evil. Like, in the sense that, yes, in story, he took Raiden's role.
There is the ending on MK4, but I'm not sure how that counts.
Let me explain. After Raiden became evil, Fujin was pretty much now the token good god, essentially, is what I mean.
Well, it kind of is. We even met him here in the conquest mode.
No, I thought Joel was just, referring to the fact that he took the title of Raiden.
No. I'm referring to the series in a meta sense there.
It basically boils down to the fact that, Fujin basically is Raiden's younger brother, who, of course...
Don't you see, unlike Raiden, Fujin didn't become corrupt.
Well, yeah.
That is one example of how much of a mess things were becoming. Although, again, the reboot trilogy kind of repeated some of these errors to much annoyance. Oh, Havoc.
Hey, Havoc. So what chaotic opposite thing can we do? Are you going to do today?
Despises order and sees it as a threat to everything in which he believes. His mission is to create mayhem and fabric of life.
Remember, Dwebs, the idea is that he's neither good nor evil. He just does the opposite of what everything is. Like, he doesn't have any actual personal... it's nothing that he does is personal, like based on his personal beliefs. It doesn't have personal beliefs, period. He just does whatever is the opposite of whatever something is expected.
It's literally Bizarro.
Yeah. Just like Motaro here, who is of course from Order Realm, he is the opposite. He does always the expected, proper, good thing that should be done. And no chaos and nothing disorderly will ever be tolerated in Order Realm.
Havoc is about promoting his own agenda, which is chaos.
Chaos.
Yes, chaos.
But the design was a little too far-fetched from his original.
Maybe that's it, Joe. Maybe Stranger of Paradise takes place in Chaos Realm.
Joe was referencing everything.
We wanted to have a character that looked like he was decaying. When we thought of special moves for him, we thought, okay, let's do stuff that looks really...
I think we found Jevil's main, Tio.
What is Jevil?
No, it's apparently Jevil. Because it's a combination
of
Joker and Devil.
He takes his own head. There you go, see?
I thought it was Jester and Evil, but whatever.
You know, isn't this kind of taken away by the fact that a lot of characters already kill themselves to cheat people out of a fatality?
You guys really think this is a good thing to showcase in the marketing, don't you? Oh my god.
Okay, so I'm guessing these generic fatalities we're seeing are from the creator brute of fatality.
Yes.
Because otherwise, it would make no sense for some of these to be like legit. These characters as actual base.
Well, to be fair,
fatalities.
Joe, I remember some of the previous games, character did have some very lame fatalities, but did not fit their actual fighting style.
Yeah, the Alliance's
Okay.
fatalities were terrible for most part.
So if none of the staff like
Well, hey, Deadly Alliance had lame fatalities and a lame fatality theme to go with it, so it fits.
Exactly, very good. Oh, hey, Suhao.
Dragon Clan. He's definitely one of the bad guys. In Jax's ending, Suhao
I love how I
killed.
can tell from the look on John Vogel's face that even he doesn't like talking about Suhao. Like,
And
it
he
really-
wrote her.
Well, okay, that's the thing, Dwibs. From what we understand, it was done with clenched teeth, because remember that bit from the interview I read in the last part, how pretty much everyone believed that Suhao was gonna stay dead, but to
Well,
their
he-
dismay, he was brought back.
Well, I mean, clenched teeth or not, he still wrote her.
I think Dwebs means more about Deadly Alliance, Jova, because yeah, he did create Suhao. But, well, Dwebs, writers can have their regrets.
Suhao is
So.
Yeah. Again, it's called Creator's Pest for a reason. Like, well, for one reason
Well, yeah, I
or
mean,
another.
his two moves
Like,
that he had was he had this
Trust me, dudes, there are plenty of examples of a creator coming to hate their own creation. It can happen over an amount of time.
Like,
it can happen
like
because they have a
Stallone
lot
with
of
Rocky 5.
realization.
beam that comes out of his
I mean, Rocky,
Hell, even-
Stallone will flat out applaud you if you say anything badly about Rocky 5 nowadays.
Hell, Peter Benchley, while not outright hating his book Jaws, does kind of regret making it for reasons here and there because of how people view sharks as a result of that. Like, so honestly, I'm not surprised that John Vogel could come to create something that he would also come to hate. But let's be honest, Suhao feels like a very dated concept in.
Hey, look, it's Jarek.
Cloud of things.
Honestly,
Speaking
Jova,
of dated concepts,
honestly, Jova, it
Oh,
seems that
God.
each new addition to the Black Dragon after Cabal feels horrible.
that's the thing. Red Dragon and all that. Like, do they even like the Red Dragon?
It's more tolerated.
So,
In the
yeah.
original timeline, we tried to have Kenshi have a quarrel with them.
Oh,
well,
for
I
real?
got
They
the
gave Jarek Scorpion's move?
so I got a minute. Jarek is in a game where he has to team up with Jax and he doesn't get dropped off a cliff.
Well, actually, no. Well, actually, it's more so. Ryan was saying that those are his enemies, actually. So.
No, it says he had to team up with them.
Well, it's just because it was more like a temporary truce sort of thing than anything.
Jarek was a character introduced
Um,
in Kombat 4, and he's basically
Ed decides to never use Jarek again, and then Jarek's like,
my
"You
God.
can't drop me, Ed. You can't. This is brutality."
rolling move, and then he has an additional move, a back slam move, basically causes a earthquake that the other characters.
Yeah, for some reason they gave Jarek an axe in this game.
God, this is brutal.
Is it?
Or overkill.
I don't know. I find these fatalities to be absolutely fucking lame.
I mean, okay, by nature, the fatality is technically overkill with how he goes over the top, but honestly, though, if this is just the generic creative fatality ones, why did they advertise this without, letting fans know these
Well,
are not the actual base fatalities?
That's the thing,
So just-
Jova. That's the thing, Jova. That's the problem with having all these characters in. There are no fatalities in Mortal Kombat Armageddon. That's the problem.
So what you mean is that all the fatalities in this game are just ones that the player has to
Yes.
create, and because obviously this is with way more limited technology, they obviously weren't gonna be able to make all those many customizable moves.
Basically, yeah. The idea is that instead of having, because there's way too many characters to create 2 fatalities for each, they decided to just okay, fine. We'll use this creative fatality thing where you could just combine these random moves, and that's a fatality. And the more moves you execute on time, the better fatality you get. You can get a brutal fatality, or a mortal fatality, or an ultimate fatality, or whatever. And it all sucks.
So hey, Kai, you were a thing.
This is one of the sad results that this game seriously, definitely needed a fucking trimming down. Like the fact that we're playing a Mortal Kombat game without proper fatalities, that in itself is pretty egregious.
Like maybe if all the other gameplay was like amazing, and I do mean had to be really amazing, that it could facilitate leaving out the classic ones. And no, from what I've seen, this game was not that amazing.
No, Deception is better balanced as a result, you know, because it has way lesser characters, so it was much easier to balance.
Shao Kahn for many years. Like Goro, he's a member of the four-armed Shokan race and descends from a lineage known for its brutality.
There you go.
Taro is like a Shokan, but he looks like a tiger. He has tiger stripes. He works for Shao Kahn the same way that Goro did.
Kintaro is a kind of like a bigger, badder version of Goro that appeared in Mortal Kombat 2.
Really? I always saw him as more slender than Goro, honestly.
All over the screen, but he was actually bigger than Goro, so it was a lot.
I mean, that's according to the dev team, so I guess there's some very decent into that.
I guess.
I'm guessing what they mean.
I think my favorite move for Kintaro is the move that he shares with Shiva, which is basically the teleport move. He basically flies off the top of the screen, lands on the opponent.
Oh God, Commonwealth's dead.
We tend to.
Oh God, Jack's dead. Oh, no, who's wrong? I forget how many characters are in this in total.
Like 50, I think.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot for a fighting game. I think that's more than Ultra Street Fighter 4.
Mm-hmm. Well, Ultra Street Fighter 4 was not even a reunion of all the cast. In fact, as I get the idea that with
oh boy, Cobra.
Hey, look, it's Ken Masters.
Speaking of Street Fighter, also that considering how big the cast is of Street Fighter, we'll probably never get an equivalent of that.
Apparently, that was their plan for Street Fighter 5. They did want to do that.
Yeah, I get the idea. They wanted to have the 10-year plan, in which they added the rest of the roster bit by bit.
And it backfired immensely.
From the mean streets of America. In the Mortal Kombat Deception story,
Oh my God, he really is Ken.
was to kill people. He really wanted to use his newfound.
What an amazing character.
Definitely.
He wants to kill people, that's
He was so amazing.
groundbreaking.
He was so amazing that he wasn't even brought back to the reboot in the reboot trilogy or anything.
Shoot, man, even Shinjinku at least got a cameo.
Yeah, he got killed by Cassie Cage in an ending.
Still, that's more than Cobra got.
Mind. Upon looking into that particular scene, that might have been a bit harsh.
Elaborate moves that Cobra had.
What I mean is, you know, to tell you what, you need context, and yeah.
It's just a joke ending because Ed Boon knows that people for the most part really hate Shujinko because he replaced Liu Kang, so he thought that the fans would like to see Cassie kill him.
Forget the fact that he replaced Liu Kang. He's a terrible character in general.
The creative fighter feature, yes. Mortal Kombat Armageddon is the only Mortal Kombat game where you can create your own character.
Mm-hmm.
This feature did not stick around.
Because obviously we're too complex. I get the idea. Someone at Midway saw what Soul Calibur was doing, and they thought, "Fuck, this probably knew how to spin. We need to do that on your own."
Against the normal Mortal Kombat characters, or fight against other creative characters.
In Creative Fighter, you can pick out every different attribute on the character, from hairstyle to boot style to costume style. You can make.
You can literally have your character dressed for success.
After you define the look of a character, then you can go in and name the two fighting styles, and you can assign different attacks. And one of the really exciting things is, besides just punches and kicks,
so there you go. Basically, it works pretty much like you'd expect something like the Creative Fighter mode from the WWE games.
Yeah,
I guess it seems in depth.
Yeah, it works. From what I've seen, it works fine. I never use it myself, but from what I've seen, it works fine.
Define their characters, victory animation, taunting animation.
Personally, I don't particularly care. I just prefer to use the actual proper characters. So.
Creative Fighter is set up so that if you're, a hardcore fan, you can go in and do everything from scratch and make this super character. You just from nothing basically. And if you're more casual,
Oh yeah, the whole, to be honest, the whole
attribute
yeeting
target
characters
design,
off a cliff in a fighting game
and
thing.
then
I actually can't believe it was
Another thing
was
we're very
it the
excited
Street
about
Fighter
with
character
feature
that got
is the
revealed
fact
to
that you
do
can
that
take your
in that
creative
trailer
fighter,
recently
play
with
him
Smash Brothers
online
Ultimate, or was
against
that
other
another
fighters
franchise?
created.
That was
That was
Tekken.
That to me
Tekken.
is the
Yeah, I was
real
getting
test of
confused.
How
Yeah, basically, he just yeets characters off a cliff because he can.
It makes
I-
sense in context.
Yeah, it's part of the backstory of Mishima family dweebs.
Oh yeah, my favorite character, Creator Fighter.
Oh, hey, May.
See, Lime is an interesting case because in herself she has enough potential, enough potential to not be a bad character, but they use her so poorly. The outfits never look great. The moveset is not remarkable, and her backstories are always sad with the story that she goes through.
She's basically always set up to be a failure kind of hero in the sense that she has goals, but she fails miserably at them.
I don't know.
Even in a charming
Well,
way.
actually, remember, guys, her ending in Deception has her become Onaga's queen, so she becomes the ruler of all the realms, so long Onaga.
Doesn't that kind of go against her whole goals of freedom, though, given how Onaga is?
I'm guessing Lee May decided, you know what, fuck this.
She just wanted that hot dragon. Yeah.
Yeah.
probably one of my favorite.
That hot dragon ballad.
She rotates around and
yeah, let's go with that.
Pops the opponent up for a juggle, so it's a sexy and useful move.
Now, what would the children be like?
I'll let your imagination do the job for you.
Wait. I'm sorry. What was that fatality? So she kicked him in.
Yeah, it's her Deadly Alliance fatality. It's her Deadly Alliance fatality. Well, remember, Job, all the fatalities in Deadly Alliance are fucking lame. Thank God for Mortal Kombat 9.
Oh, didn't that fatality have to be created with the create a fatality? Because you said that there's no actual fatality.
No, but that fatality we just saw, Joe, but that was her fatality from Deadly Alliance, not from this game.
Champion of Mortal Kombat and member of the White Lotus Society.
Anyway, Liu Kang.
Liu Kang.
He now exists as a living corpse.
That's not a fitting metaphor for anything, I'm sure.
Yeah. Mortal Kombat being a corpse at this point.
Jesus.
Da da da.
Fatality. Liu Kang was Earthrealm's best hope at preventing Shao Kahn.
And then you killed him off.
I mean, it did work against Shao Kahn. I guess there's that.
Liu Kang was eventually killed by the Deadly Alliance, which was Quan Chi and Shang Tsung.
Yeah, and everyone loved you for that.
Call it a bold move if you want, but what came after just was not able to cut the mustard. You really did not need to kill
I
Liu
mean,
King.
okay, I'll just say this right now. In spite of examples that this group has been seeing in our playthroughs recently, killing off a main character as a surprise twist at the beginning isn't inherently a bad idea.
Liu Kang exists.
Sure.
It's also not inherently a good idea either.
So this is what if anything
nothing is inherently good or bad.
Like you said, Libs, it can come off really tasteless on the long.
Especially if you fuck it up.
Which they kinda did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that's the thing though. Liu Kang being killed off at the beginning wouldn't have been so bad, but the characters that have tried to replace him have either been lame or dumbasses.
Or both.
Well, actually, I mean, no.
Show your mom to play with.
Shichinko is fascinating in his ineptitude.
Poor Liu Kang. The zombie state feels very poetic.
Like I said,
Evil
totally not a fitting
fatality.
metaphor for the series.
See, it's an evil fatality. What would a good fatality be like then?
Heroic
brutality.
MK versus DC.
I
also
guess.
Heroic brutality.
Yeah, friendship.
Alright, Mavado.
Friendship again.
A leader of the Red Dragon clan, Movado has undertaken a ruthless
Did not
campaign
care
of
for this guy.
Nobody does, Joe. Nobody
Who's
does.
Movado again?
Exactly.
Leader
That's very
of the
good.
Red Dragon clan.
Movado vows that he will not rest until
Nobody really cares about the Red Dragon versus Black Dragon thing.
Oh yeah, the irony.
Derek's more memorable than this guy.
The irony that he won't rest until every bit of the Black Dragon is erased. It's funny because the Black Dragon ended up outlasting you to the point where they're in the reboot.
Holy
but you
crap!
aren't.
Kenshin's model was clipping there.
a high-ranking member of the Red Dragon clan. His main objective has been to eradicate any members of the Black Dragon clan.
Movado originally started out as more of a matador kind of character, which didn't fit into the Mortal Kombat look at all.
Which is interesting because all those other prototype designs for him, I will argue, looked way cooler.
Yeah.
At one point, we just weren't happy with the direction that we're going, so we decided to go a lot more towards a darker black trench coat type of look.
So you pretty much made him the usual Hot Topic character of the time that wore dark leather and all that.
Because the Matrix, Java.
It's funny because Tio mentioned the Matrix and there's a Matrix film coming out later this year.
That was one of the cool moves.
Revelation.
Oh, is that the official name?
No,
yes.
Resurrections.
Oh, right, Resurrection.
So have they revealed yet what the plot of that is going to be?
They showed the trailer yesterday for that because of the
The
conference
CinemaCon.
thing.
CinemaCon, yeah. But
Yeah,
as of the time of this recording,
Pray
it's
it doesn't get leaked like the new Way Home trailer.
Mocap, aka Carlos Pezina.
This unfortunate bystander finds himself embroiled in an otherworldly struggle.
He's an insert.
Oh no.
Being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
I mean, at least he's a joke character.
Well, Mocap, Carlos Pezina is the king of
Yeah,
Mocap of this series, so...
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it's the type of insert character that makes sense.
You know,
Not to mention, he's intentionally made to be a joke anyway. There's Carlos, yeah.
but it's not a deep story.
I have no idea how I got here. One moment I was in a motion capture.
Yeah,
gonna be the next
this is something that I didn't find in our playthrough, but yeah, if you go out of your way, you can find Mocap in a secret place in Conquest Mode and Deception. Yeah.
That's considering the trend and the fact that he got a more recent movie, I'm gonna guess Candyman.
Motion capture expert on the game, and
Carlos is awesome.
he's been in every Mortal Kombat game.
Was that movie
Started out
good?
as-
I haven't seen it.
No. I was just thinking of what the website did, and I'm like, no.
At some point, we were coming up with hidden characters.
Oh, apparently we're dead now.
Blaze being one of
Yes.
them from Mortal
Well, Carlos Pezina also played Raiden back in the day.
easily put together.
So, and I think he still does mocap for Raiden's moves, if I remember correctly. So he does mocap for a lot of still. He also did animations for this game, according to the credits. So yeah, Carlos is a very multifaceted developer. He's one of Ed Boon's closest friends
He's a
and
trooper.
collaborators.
Yeah, he's been there since the beginning.
Yep.
Which I thought was pretty flattering. But it's also kind of weird seeing a fatality performed on your actual self.
And whenever you see him talk in these interviews, he always comes across as a very charismatic guy. So. No matter how many times I see it, it doesn't get any less lamer.
I don't think Mortal Kombat Armageddon would have sold tickets or or game units. Yeah, actually, that'd be great if you did really piss poor in a fight and they just managed to win. That the fatalities get replaced by something much lamer delivered, showing you how much you fail.
The closest thing we got with is that if in an online match you actually decide to disconnect voluntarily, you actually get killed on the spot. Your opponent wins, and it's labeled as a quitality.
I don't know, Dwebs. Here in my, allow me to remind you, here in my country, we had a movie called just Crap Movie, and it was a box office success. So.
But he escaped the Netherrealm and left.
So, I mean, so basically, you could just do that and everything.
Well, it's a comedy, Dwebs. So the name itself is a joke. So.
That's gonna be the MCU's next big thing for Phase 5. Marvel's crap.
Moloch is one of the Onis that...
Yeah, we can literally,
here's the other Oni.
we can literally put crap in it and it will still sell.
Which makes him stand out from...
So basically, it's like the Coen brothers. Buzzing.
Ball and chain as his weapon. He's more of a...
I like Burnout reading.
Oh, I do too, Teo. But those guys can basically put out anything, and it will get and the critics will.
These days?
I think they're making a TV. I think they're working on a TV show now. I'll have to look it up.
Well, Theo, Pedro, I know they didn't direct it, but they wrote it. No one exactly swam out, ran out to see Gambit.
Mm-hmm.
Slamming it on the ground, causing quakes.
But was it critically acclaimed though?
No.
Ah, okay then.
Most of Moloch's moves involve...
I guess things changed since 2007 then.
Attacking opponents.
I think that was like a few years afterwards.
He didn't have an elaborate array of moves that he could perform, but the ones that he did that involved this ball were very damaging, almost half the opponent's energy.
And yet...
I mean, he's a giant monster. You'd think the fatality would look a bit more cooler coming from him.
No, Dwebs, you will not get any kind of cool fatalities. Like when you make Deadly Alliance's fatalities seem cool, you know you're in trouble. Hey, Motaro. Okay, so here's the thing about Motaro. They were not able to give him his full centaur form because it would not work with the engine. So they basically decided instead of keeping him out, they just give him horse like furry legs of sorts. He only has 2 legs instead of 4. So there you go.
Again, just for convenience sake on programming.
Personally, I'm okay with it. It's it's not like it hurts to have him in the game still.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if that's what it takes, then sure, go for it.
Remember, this is also his first appearance in
That being said, they still bothered to give an in-story explanation why he only has 2 legs in this game. The Shokan stole, put a curse on him. Sorry, put a curse on him or some shit. Yeah, of course.
And they removed his back 2 legs.
My leg.
We were faced with this decision of not
My leg.
or getting rid of the back legs and including them. So we went with just getting rid of the back legs and bring him into the game.
In Armageddon, Motaro's going to have a lot of the signature moves that he had from Mortal Kombat 3. Basically, he shoots a projectile out of his tail, and he can teleport like he did in Mortal Kombat 3. But we're also giving him new moves. He has this great charging move where he's like this big battering ram. So it's going to be bull in a china shop.
There you go. Finish him. No, I said finish him, don't just whack him.
There you go, he ripped out something from him.
Yeah. There's a lot of spine ripping in these custom fatalities.
Because it's iconic.
When everyone does it though, there's something just off about it.
Basically. Hey, Nitaro.
Hey, Nitaro, one of the better additions.
A vampire from a forgotten realm. Netara,
and again, despite being a vampire, she's actually a relatively good guy.
Was fused with Outworld, throwing it into chaos. Now that her home has been freed, she struggles to maintain its fragile stability.
I love how sometimes they interrupt the text scroll.
Vampire realm, which at some point had been merged with Outworld by Shao Kahn.
Remember, the general rule is that realms like Edenia eventually gets assimilated by Outworld, and Earthrealm was next.
I wonder if, when this game was being hyped up, that they would reveal the characters little by little on the website until eventually it was revealed that everyone's coming back.
Actually, don't remember that.
Pedro?
I'm sorry, could you repeat?
I wondered if on the site, they would, they would have videos of these characters added, day after day after day, until eventually it was revealed that everyone was back.
No, that's not what they did. The fact that everybody was back was told to us from the very beginning. What they did is that this was actually apparently there were supposed to be more than just these videos that we're watching. because they were apparently planning on trying to make videos for every single one of the characters, but apparently it didn't go through. So eventually they stopped releasing these videos.
It's a bit similar to what Atlus is currently doing, a video per day when it comes to the recruitable demon in Shin Megami Tensei 5.
So she was probably one of the darker Mortal Kombat characters, a lot of blood associated with her.
Fatality.
Alright. Next. Onaga, the Dragon King.
Hey, look, it's that one villain from that one game. And I kind of just forgot about him afterward.
They literally in story made him a subject of Shao Kahn, and even he rejected it.
Like, damn, what happened to Onaga? You were supposed to be like, the crowning villain. And then you end up being a subjugate to freaking Shao Kahn?
It's because, unlike Shao Kahn, Onaga was not the overnight sensation new villain that they were planning for him to be.
True, yeah, but all the same, bringing him back just to be a subject of Shao Kahn is kind of lame. Like, maybe it would have been more dignified just to leave him dead. It's not even like, the game reflects on that either, with some clever subtext. He's just back.
It's okay, Joe, because now we have another new, even worse baddie, Blaze.
You mean Darkon?
We're not there yet.
For all the presentation Blaze has, he's not even really that much a bad guy. He's also a whipping boy himself.
A victim of circumstances, yeah.
No, she's the Iblis Trigger.
Blaze isn't a she.
Yeah, it's mostly because like they were saying right now, his appearance in the Deception opening movie is so cool that it is kind of a disservice.
He kind of peaked there. It seems.
pretty much. He
not even Raiden, whatever.
Yeah.
Beat him.
Well, remember that was the whole idea that Onaga is incredibly powerful. He's the new super powerful new villain that is gonna be really hard to defeat.
Goes down to the worst character in the series, worst protagonist in the series.
Yeah, pretty much.
It does suck. Oh.
It'd be funny if we get a character profile for Shujinku in this.
I don't think there is one actually. Anyway, here's Rain.
Although the blood of Edenian royalty flows through his veins, Rain is a traitor to his realm. When faced with
that's just terrible.
Yeah, it's only briefly mentioned, but essentially Rain is the bastard brother of Taven and Dagon.
Yep. Basically, Rain is an asshole in a lot of ways. Like
Rain was a purple ninja who first made his appearance
anyway.
in MK3.
I still really like him, especially.
Oh sure.
Rain first appeared in Mortal Kombat 3, but he hasn't made an appearance since then.
This was like his first major 3D appearance as well.
Good for him.
Rain was a hidden character. It was one of those last-minute inspirations.
Yeah, I actually don't remember. I don't remember if I told you guys this, but Rain is actually an homage of Ed Boon's to Purple Rain. Get it? He's a ninja. He's purple, and he's named Rain.
Funny.
Started coming up with the stories of how they found him and played him. We decided to say, okay, let's make him a hidden character that you can actually play in the game. My favorite fighting move from Rain would probably be his lightning summons move, where in Mortal Kombat Trilogy you were finally able to play as Rain, so we had to give him some moves. We gave him this move where he would summon lightning that would strike the other player, bounce him up in the air for a juggle. That's probably my favorite move.
Next. Oh wait.
What?
Reiko.
Hey, Reiko. You know, yet another guy nobody gives a damn about.
Reiko has served as general to both Shao Kahn and Shinnok.
Man,
Hey, look, it's Cabal's design in Mortal Kombat 11.
you know, again, here's the weird thing though. I'm not gonna act like all new additions in the reboot trilogy were gold, but feels like there were more hits there than there were, you know, in the PS2.
Definitely. Compare the reboot trilogy in comparison with the PS2 trilogy, brought in a lot better new additions compared to this trilogy. Definitely, that's not even a debate.
Aaron Black alone
Yeah.
is worth for the entire.
It's Troy Baker playing a badass cowboy ninja in the Mortal Kombat. You can't go wrong with that.
They
You cannot.
Every single cowboy-related trope that you can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, and even you like that, Tio? I know you're not big on westerns.
For a fighting game like this, it's kind of an unusual novelty, and I kind of appreciate the exoticness of it.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. But yeah, I mean, I do wonder what was going on with them during the PS2 trilogy that made it that well.
Midway, like I said, I strongly suspect that Midway was breathing on their neck, giving some mandates or limiting what they could do and the budget they could have.
I also liked Kotal Khan in particular. Like
Yeah,
it's
that's also another good addition.
Hey, Serena from Mythologies.
I almost forgot you existed.
So yeah, she's the only character from Mythologies who returns for this game.
And what does she have to show for it?
Not much. I mean, after this game, all she got was a small little cameo in MK10.
Yeah.
Character that first appeared in Mortal Kombat Mythologies Sub-Zero. She first became a playable character.
I love how he can say.
Yeah,
that
fun fact. Yeah, Serena. Yeah, fun fact. Serena was in the Game Boy Advance version of Mortal Kombat: Deadly Alliance, of all things.
So she technically does have some precedent.
So yeah, if you've always wanted to play as Serena in a 2D Mortal Kombat game, there's your chance.
Kind of like a side character in mythologies.
Somehow this doesn't feel as exciting when Yaya Panda was a
They had to show that scene with Shinnok doing the stupid face.
And since we already had this 3D model with the
Good old Mortal Kombat on the Game Boy, because that was a stellar game, wasn't it?
Well, MK Advance was another thing entirely with Jova.
Yeah. Oh, MK Advance was fun.
Oh, and honestly, Jova, when it comes to bad ports, the MK4 port on the Game Boy Color takes the cake.
Yeah.
Even worse than Advance, eh?
I'll just give you a link afterwards, Jova. It's that bad.
It really is.
It's not, I can tell you this, Jova, it's not even it's funny to comment on it bad, because there's really not much to it, and the sound really destroys your ears.
Well, I mean, the reason I'd say that Advance was worse than the Game Boy Color one is because you'd think the Game Boy Advance would be able to handle something like that, but it can't.
Didn't the Game Boy Advance have a Street Fighter game?
No, the Game Boy Advance was perfectly capable of handling a classic Mortal Kombat game. It's just that the people who made it.
I'm not entirely sure that it had Tekken Advance, which was pretty good, surprisingly.
If the Mega Drive can handle Mortal Kombat 3, then so can the Game Boy Advance. That's not even an excuse.
Yeah. No, it's like I said. Who was expecting a good Mortal Kombat game on the Game Boy Color? It was the Game Boy Advance that I find the more baffling as to how it was fucked up. I mean, from what I've heard, other Mortal Kombat games on the system were pretty good.
Yeah, apparently the Deadly Alliance.
Look at it. It was Alpha Furry that got a GBA release.
Yeah, apparently Deadly Alliance GBA is fine, and there's also Mortal Kombat Unchained. What is Mortal Kombat Unchained, you may ask? It's the PSP port of Deception. It's just called Unchained. It's just called Unchained for some reason.
Like we mentioned, it actually has a couple of extra characters in it compared to the base version.
The design was influenced by a bounty hunter in one of my favorite films. Sector just has a lot of cool techie attachments. Just overall, it's a cool looking character.
Yeah, that's all I can say. It's cool.
Sector and Cyrus.
Well, Mortal Kombat has always operated on the rule of cool.
Yeah.
They were kind of like a robot version.
I'm kind of fanning at that with the fatality.
Oh, definitely. Don't worry, there's Mortal Kombat 9 will save fatalities.
Came up with names for
What about versus DC Universe?
That's the thing, Dwebs. DC
they're
didn't want
running this
DC didn't
one,
want.
but they play safe.
That's the problem, Dwebs. DC didn't want Superman decapitating anybody, so we can't have that.
What about the
We
Mortal
can't have
Kombat
that.
character?
Anyway,
Well,
look at here's Injustice.
But what about
Also,
the
here's
Mortal
Joker
Kombat
and
character?
K11 to be gored as way you please.
But I got a minute. What about the Mortal Kombat characters in that game then?
They can
kill.
They can kill. It's just that we don't want Superman or Wonder Woman doing it.
Well, I mean, considering the fans go apeshit every time Superman kills somebody, I can't blame them too much.
He had another homing missile in Mortal Kombat 3 that was
People still talk about Zod to this day.
and he also had a great teleport move.
See, here's the thing. See, here's the thing. Here's the thing, and I've said this before. This is something that again, this is a problem that DC had when it comes to taking that feedback from those movies. They don't understand the nuance of it. You see, the problem is not so much that Superman killed; it's more so the circumstances of how that scene was executed. That was the big problem. Same thing with the whole Superman had a lot of collateral damage during Man of Steel. See, here's the thing: if they applied the DBZ OVA logic, where Goku tries to lure the villains away from the town. And if they apply that logic in Man of Steel, people would not care that. So just have Superman actually give a crap and remember that he has to protect the civilians. That's it. That's all you needed to do.
Shiva, full buff mommy mode.
Yes. Well, maybe she's been working out between games too.
And then DC panicked so far back that they're like, well, Batman v Superman is too dark and gritty. Let's ruin Suicide Squad.
Anyway, let's stick on track.
Sorry. Had to get that out of my system.
Also, yeah, I think she actually is considerably buffer than their previous appearances.
Like I said, she's been working out.
And she doesn't seem to have skipped a single, well, maybe a bit arm day, considering they seem to be less pumped than the legs. And again, when you have 4 arms, it's a bit tiring to actually have to train all 4 of them.
I still don't understand why was it necessary to remove Shiva from MK3 Ultimate. Like, I mean, you could have added the new characters and added Scorpion and all that stuff, but you didn't need to remove Shiva. I mean, but whatever. There you go. Again, there's no mocap actors with 4 arms, so we have to use stop motion for these.
Yeah.
Friendship again.
Friendship again.
My favorite move from Shiva is probably her teleport move. Basically, she flies off the top of the screen, lands on her opponent, stomps on him a couple more times for good measure, and then jumps back off. It's easy to catch your opponent off guard with that move.
Similar to what you mentioned earlier about her being removed for some reason. Was she an unpopular character?
No. It was a weird thing where, Mortal Kombat 3 Ultimate was supposed to be the super duper duper awesome deluxe version of the game, but for some reason they removed Shiva, and I never understood why. But that's okay. We have Mortal Kombat Trilogy that has everybody in it, so. Shinnok.
Definitely a popular character. Oh, goody, Shinnok. Shao Kahn's daddy.
Shinnok was banished to the
It's like the only Mortal Kombat 4 character that's persisted to this day.
Upon his escape, he once again tried
Jared. Well, okay.
No, Tanya
hold on.
up.
Yeah, Tanya.
One of the story ideas we have is that the reason Shinnok was defeated in Mortal Kombat 4 was that Quan Chi didn't give him.
Forget, was Shinnok being Shao Kahn's father? Oh.
Just in the movie, Drover. Not in the games.
Why does it look like you're
Stop doing this shit! It's so stupid!
That's hilarious!
Don't you see, Tio? It all made sense in the grand scheme of
I
things.
mean, seriously! The actor just looking very like, did I do that?
That's not Shinnok. That's just a generic uncle who seems disappointed about you.
Okay, this fatality is.
Yeah, this one's good.
That's from an earlier game, though, not from. or Armageddon.
Let's not forget that 4 has Taylor's favorite fatality, where one, she removes the opponent's leg and then beats the opponent with that leg.
Yeah, and it keeps going.
Shinnok actually originally would have.
We need to bring that fatality back at some point.
But it's for 9.
Oh yeah, that is true. Yeah.
Not for X.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I mean, you have to come up with new fatalities. You can't just keep reusing.
Absolutely.
That he summons from the ground.
It makes sense to return in 9, since 9 was all about, you know, retelling the canon from the 90s.
Yeah.
But for 10, yeah, sure, come up with some new ones. Why not? Especially considering how the new staff from NetherRealm is so much better coming up with fatalities in comparison.
Oh, he was Striker.
Oh, it's you.
Curtis the NYPD Special Riot Control Division. During Shao Kahn's attempt to seize...
I mean, I kind of like his appearance, his costume in this game. Very secret agent stuff, but
he still has no idea.
It's still an idiot and a violent cop.
I hope you enjoy him in the new movie.
Behind an Earth realm to help
I want to give the benefit. We're recording this audience right before it's supposed to be released, so I still want to give the benefit of the doubt, especially because the Legends Scorpion's Revenge was very, written good in a good way. So I want to give hope to that.
Urban, less superhero-looking character that we've had in a Mortal Kombat game before that, because it looked like he was just kind of wearing street clothes. You know, he had a backwards cap on. He was like this cop, but he really didn't look futuristic or anything. And so a lot of people kind of looked at him in terms of the visuals, and they didn't.
And there you go.
Attracted over in terms of picking him. But if you actually picked the character, he was one of like the best hidden secrets in Mortal Kombat 3.
Was he now?
Yeah, also for another thing, Jova, the team actually loved the Striker when they first was adding NK3, and did not understand why the fan base did not like him, to the point where they actually, changed him a bit between releases, but fans still ended up not liking him.
Did fans even like him in this game?
No.
Striker, it's a tale as old as time.
Striker was never a beloved character to begin with, aside from the team.
There are so many jokes we can make.
And nowadays, and you don't even see him. Okay, well, he is in Mortal Kombat 9, but after that, he gets basically...
I think he has an appearance...
He's Remnant in 10?
Yes, I was about to mention. He has an on-screen appearance for the story mode in NKX, but you don't even get to fight him, and he's gone after that.
Oh yeah, our hot, new, slick protagonist who couldn't even really accomplish anything.
I love that pose.
Well, I mean, you just didn't do the whole universe.
Look at my armpit.
Must undertake a quest that will decide the fate of the world.
Solve my maze. What?
Taven is an Adinian half-god. His
The wrong game, the Dejimon. When I record Superman 64, we can do all those jokes.
I also want to give a bit of, slack onto the Conquest mode. They generally try to capture the idea of an actual classic Greek myth. The demigod destined to do big things, traveling between the different realms and doing heroic deeds, and ultimately fulfilling his destiny. I get the idea John Vogel had at least a basic knowledge of classic mythos like Hercules or, Perseus.
It's one of those things where you name the character, you wonder how anybody can think of it as that name, and then a few weeks pass, and then it just seems very natural. So Taven is the Conquest character that was created that you take from beginning to end and becomes an unlocked character. Taven is one of the very few new Mortal Kombat characters that are being introduced in Armageddon. Taven has a number of very cool moves in Conquest mode where he can basically suspend time, freeze all the opponents, and then kind of attack them at his will.
So what was the fans' overall reception to Taven altogether?
Much better than Shujinko, still not super warm, but acceptable at the very least.
Yeah, people most of the time tend to even forget that he even exists.
But they don't outright hate him. That's basically
that's something. Yeah,
we
don't hate him. That's something.
If for MK12 they bring back him and his rivalry Dagon, I guess fans will be more curious to see what's about rather than bringing back Shujinko versus Onaga.
Alright everybody, so there you go, we've gotten through all the bio videos. So now in the next part we can finally start the arcade mode and watch all of the endings. So sit down because we have yet another 50 plus minutes part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See ya.